Hey, what's up guys? Spencer Rhodes here, and this is my video on whether or not this new character Lance, that's a part of the Commonwealth, is related to Negan. So a lot of people have been speculating that Lance might be related to Negan because Lance looks a lot like Negan, and I agree, Lance does look a lot like Negan. However, there is no way they're related. There is no fucking way. I think it's just kind of an accident that he looks a lot like Negan. If I was writing that, I would have made him look a little different, because you don't want a character that looks like Negan. Negan is the most popular character in the comics. There's no Daryl, so it pretty much goes without saying that Negan is the most popular character in the comics. So I would not have created a character that looks kind of like Negan. So a lot of people have been going really crazy with the theories that maybe these two guys are related. I mean, sure, it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. But no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. We've never had a moment with Negan that would even lead us to believe that. We've seen some of Negan's backstory. I mean, sure, we don't know anything about Negan's parents, if Negan had siblings or cousins, aunts, uncles. We don't know. We know about his wife. We know about his backstory. We know about the job he used to have. But we don't know about his family. So I think that's why some people think that Lance might be related to Negan. And for another thing, Lance kind of has some similar personality quirks to Negan. He smiles a lot, and he has kind of a sarcastic attitude. But no, I don't think this is the case. I don't see it. Like I said, it's possible, but not very likely. I could be totally wrong. Next issue, we could have Negan run into Lance, and Negan's like, "Hey, what's up? I thought you were dead." And it's like they're brothers or their cousins, or they're related or something. It's possible, but I don't think so. I just don't know what it would do to further Negan's story. We've already sort of had the twist that Michonne's daughter is still alive. And I think that by itself, I don't even know if that was realistic, because, there's 6 billion people, and yes, 50,000 people is a lot of people, but even then, the chances weren't very high that Michonne's daughter would still be alive. I mean, I guess they were relatively high, but, that was kind of a little far-fetched, I would say, especially because it's a little kid. But, yeah, Michonne's daughter is still alive. So that, and Negan and Lance being long-lost brothers, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't know what it would do to further Negan's story. I don't know what it would do to further the plot. I think it would just be a plot twist for the sake of being a plot twist, unless it was done right. If it was done right, then maybe. But for right now, I don't think so. I think it would just be something to get the audience talking and being like, "Holy shit, Negan found his long-lost brother." I'm really interested in Negan's story. I'm really interested in where they're going with him. I don't want him to find some long-lost sibling. I think, if anything, that would just get in the way of that. I want to see Negan continue to be this bad guy, that maybe he's not a bad guy anymore, but everyone still remembers him as a bad guy, and they're always going to remember him as a bad guy. But no one's going to kill him. Negan's not going to kill anyone. So there's really that twisted dynamic. Negan was this bad guy that used to be, a bad guy. He brutally killed Glenn. He killed hundreds of people. And Rick will never forget that. Maggie will never forget that. Negan will never be best friends with Rick. Negan will never be best friends with Maggie or Dwight or Carl, who's still alive in the comics, by the way. He's not so much in the show, but in the comics, that's still a key thing. Negan and Carl could still be a key thing. If Negan comes to the Commonwealth, if everyone goes to the Commonwealth, which I think is what's going to happen. I think that everyone is going to go to the Commonwealth, unless the Commonwealth turns out to be a group of bad people. But if it really is 50,000 good people, I could see Rick and Alexandria and the Hilltop and the Kingdom and Negan, they're all going there. They're all going to the Commonwealth. And for Negan, that's kind of a fresh start, but there's all these other people that remember him for what he did. Like I said, Rick will never be best friends with Negan. Maggie will never be best friends with Negan. They're not going to kill him, but he's always going to be a good guy that used to be a bad guy. He's a bad guy that's not a bad guy anymore. But he will never be forgiven. You know, he might even be irredeemable. We love Negan as a character. I love Negan as a character. But, I mean, I guess he's not really irredeemable. He might be redeemable, but he's not going to change how Rick and Maggie feel about him, you know, and Dwight and Michonne and everyone else. He will always be a bad person to them. There will always be that one little they can't let it go. They can't get over it, and that's how it should be. That's how it should always be. There should always be that one little thing. I mean, Negan can team up with them. Negan can do things with them. If there's walkers or bad guys or things happening, and they need to like send people out, like Maggie and Negan could like be on a team or something, or cooperate, or you know, like help each other in a battle, you know, save each other's lives. But there's always going to be that one thing, that one little barrier that keeps Negan from, you know, being best friends with Rick or being best friends with Maggie, because he did kill her husband. And you know, Rick, obviously, they're never going to be best friends because just they were on opposite sides of the war. Not only that, but they were opposite leaders on opposite sides of the war. You're never going to be best friends with that guy. And I don't want to steal what Ronnie Hay said. Ronnie Hay said this, and that's why I'm saying there's always going to be that one barrier. You know, Maggie and Rick, they can respect Negan. They can be friends with Negan. Well, not really friends with Negan, but they can respect him. They can cooperate with him. They can save his life. He can save their lives in battles. They can team up and, you know, organize and plan things and kill walkers together. They can talk to each other. They can communicate with each other. You know, but they're never going to be friends because, and Ronnie Hay said this, there's always going to be that one barrier. And that, I think, that right there is the most interesting thing about Negan right now. It's the most interesting angle with Negan's character, and it's the most interesting angle in the story. Now, with the Commonwealth, which I think, like I said, everyone is going to go to the Commonwealth. Everyone. The only people that might not go are the Saviors. I always forget his name. John, the black guy, the leader of the Saviors right now. The Saviors might not go, but everyone else is going to go if the Commonwealth are good people, and they actually are 50,000 people. Everyone is going to go. So for all of those people, that's a fresh start with Negan. But I still want there to be a heavy focus on the fact that there's still that barrier between him and the other characters. Like Rick, all the characters that remember him for what he did. He has a fresh start with the Commonwealth, but there's all these characters, these like still hundreds of people that know Negan, hundreds of people that remember Negan, hundreds of people that lived after All Out War. I mean, Magna, Yukimo, you know, they weren't there when it happened, but they've heard stories at this point. So there's all these people on this side that know Negan for what he did, and then there's all these people in the Commonwealth that he has a fresh start with, and I think that's really interesting. I still want there to be a heavy focus on the angle, the barrier that keeps the characters that know Negan for what he did, that keeps them from being his friend. That barrier that will probably always be there until they all die, until Negan dies, until Rick dies, until Maggie dies. There's always going to be that barrier. And I think that's really interesting. I still want there to be a heavy focus on that. Giving Negan some brother, you know, I think they would kind of throw everything off. It would kind of be a slap in the face, and it would kind of make all this character development, this past 50 issues of Negan's story that started with him being locked up after All Out War and ended with him throwing Lucille in the fireplace. That whole story would just kind of get tossed out the window if we just had this lame plot twist where Negan meets her brother. It's like, well, what's the point of all this stuff that you did with Negan? You literally took one of the biggest bad guys ever and turned him into someone that not only are the good guys going to kill, but he can pretty much be a good guy, but they're still going to remember that. It's not like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where he pretty much became a good guy. Like the only person that didn't like Spike was Xander. You know, Spike like literally became a good guy. It's not going to be like that. Negan is always going to sort of be a bad guy to Rick and to Maggie. There's always going to be that barrier. I still want that to be explored. I think that's the main point of Negan being alive. Yes, he's funny. Yes, he's a creative character. But the main point of his story arc is that there's still that barrier, and that there's always going to be that barrier. I want that to stay the focus. I want to see how the characters deal with that. I want to see his interaction with Rick and Maggie and the continued development, because they can get to where they respect each other, but there's always going to be that barrier. And if you give him some brother, it's just like, it just kind of, I don't think it fits. I don't think it fits the story that's been building. I don't think it fits Negan's continuing story arc. Giving him a brother, I don't think it's necessary. I think it would just kind of throw everything off, and I think it would be done for the sake of getting the audience talking. That's the show. The show does stupid shit for the sake of getting the audience talking. The comics does really cool stuff. The comics are still really good. So to answer your question, no, I do not think Lance is Negan's brother. It's possible, but I am just against it just because I think it would not fit what they're doing with Negan right now. I don't think it would fit Negan's story arc. I think it would be done for bad reasons. It would be done just to get the audience talking. So no, I don't believe that Negan and Lance are related. Although I do agree they look really similar, but that's about it. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And don't be shy, hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 videos a day, mostly Walking Dead right now. So please hit that subscribe. We're at 21 subscribers right now. First goal is 250. Once we get to 250, I will make the most awesome celebration video ever. So please help me get to 250. Please spread the word. Please share my video with anyone that you could think of. I would greatly appreciate it beyond words. Anyway, I'm Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye!